What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K, and it's good to be back, and it's good to say those words once again. It's been so long. I apologize that it's taking me so long to get back to making videos. There's been a lot going on, as you guys know, with the Knicks, and I'm not gonna...
We suck again!
We are so bad. We suck. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and welcome yourselves to the CK Crew. Yes, I have moved. The office is different. This is kind of my first video in here. I know I did a live in this office. Still moving things around. That's why I don't have lights on me, so I'm a little dark. If not, then whatever. My Knicks banner has fallen to the floor, unfortunately.
Just to suffer.
A lot of stuff still being moved around in my office. I want to say briefly before we get into today's video, I want to thank you to everybody who's been so supportive, who've been, DMing me, shooting messages at me, tweeting at me. I can go on and on. You guys have been so supportive, so patient. But we back on the grind now. I just had a lot of family stuff going on, just a lot of things going on in the background, and I decided to take another week off and spend time with the family before we get back on track here on this channel. And you know what didn't help?
The Bucks have never had back-to-back victories with margins of 40 or more, and one,
the fact that the Knicks sucked, that's another thing that didn't help me want to come back and make any more videos. And it's not just a normal, oh, the Knicks are bad. No, this is a different type of bad. This is worse than last season kind of bad. And we have players that are signed for a lot more money than we did last season. Yeah. As of right now, as of recording this video, there are rumors circulating everywhere about who's going to be replacing David Fizdale once David Fizdale, or I say once, but if he's fired. But I mean, after that game against Milwaukee, it's almost a foregone conclusion that David Fizdale is probably going to be the scapegoat for the New York Knicks. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, it's looking like one of the first moves the Knicks are probably going to do to make sure that they can try and salvage whatever is going on with this season or whatever is going on with this team is going to be getting rid of David Fizdale and moving forward with either Pat Sullivan or Mike Miller. Both of those are guys on our assistant coaching staff. I'm definitely team Mike Miller. I would love to have Mike Miller, especially if we end up going through with trading away some of these veterans before the deadline and just having a young team around Mike Miller's coaching. I'm 100% with that because Mike Miller has proven that he is good at developing these guys at the G League level. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the coaching stuff in a little bit. But yeah, that's going on right now, as well as the fact that we're bad. We're 4-17. This is tied for the worst season that we've had in Knicks history, which was 4-21. If I'm gonna say 4-21 or 4-20 back in 2014-15. When Derek Fisher was our head coach. Yeah, there was a lot of names on that roster that didn't warrant us to be so bad, but we found a way to be bad. And the problem that time was 100% coaching. I mean, there was a lot of little small nuances that, didn't help us out, but the major issue was that Derek Fisher just was not a coach. We're seeing that right now as his career continues on with the Los Angeles Sparks, unless he's already been fired. Derek Fisher was not a great coach. And in a lot of people's eyes, that is the continued situation this year with David Fizdale. Now, yeah, last year, everyone wasn't expecting much of a winning season from David Fizdale. They were expecting development and the youth movement, and we got bits and pieces of that with a little sprinkle of Emmanuel Mudiay and Noah Vonlehs and Mario Hezonjas and stuff like that. But this year, now that he was given more talent, I can't even say that. Anyways, now that he was given a quote-unquote better roster than last year, a lot of people were having us in the playoffs. The P word that I've been avoiding in every video. You guys kept asking what the P word was. P word's playoff, spoiler alert, and I'm glad I've been avoiding that P word because we are not getting in there anytime soon.
That's what she said.
Although I don't believe this is a well put together roster, at the end of the day, yes, this roster is a better roster than the roster that we ended last season with. Again, well put together, that's a different argument. Which comes up to a lot of my points that I want to be making in this video, and I would love to hear all of the thoughts and everything you guys have to say throughout this video. But the key concept going around right now is, especially on Twitter and social media, is what would you do if you had the power to control this team. I know the first thing on a lot of people's list would probably be to fire David Fizdale, and I get that, but to me, no, it's actually not the first thing on my list if I was the owner. Definitely the first thing on my list would be forcing Steve Mills to step down. I've said this in lives, I've said this in one of my rants a few videos back, that to me, this is bigger than David Fizdale, although David Fizdale does have a lot of negatives. I can go on and on about him. I'm not going to cover him and say that he's been great. To me, he's the scapegoat amongst fans and amongst the front office when it comes to what's going on with our team, because what's going on with the team is bigger than just the coaching.
And has David Fizdale done a good job of creating a style of play? No. Has he done a good job of developing, this is what we're going to be night in and night out, as in, you know what your role is, you know what your role is? He has not. But so 4-17 is on his head. It's not a 4-17 roster. He was given a bad team. He was given a team with 5 power forwards. He was given a team with no point guard. And in the NBA, if you don't have a point guard, they're getting boat raced by the other team's backcourt almost every night.
What's going on with our team is the same thing that's been going on with our team for more than, I can't even say a decade, it's almost 2 decades at this point, and it's all been connected to a certain guy who just keeps maneuvering his way into the front office however he can do it.
In the end, it's Steve Mills who has a direct pipeline to James Dolan. It's Steve Mills who appears to be the cat with 9 lives, that no matter who else leaves the Knicks organization, somehow, some way, he remains there. Yet David Fizdale is on the clock.
Maybe it's because he has this connection with James Dolan, who knows? But he went from being a part of the front office to then being like the associate to the president, to eventually being what he is now as the president of the organization. And in every year he has been with this organization, we have either not been anywhere near a step in the right direction, or we had a superstar in Carmelo Anthony and a great group of guys for 2 seasons, but again, there was no sense of stability because we were good for 2 years and then we dropped back off. That's not the makings of a stable basketball team. If you're at that point where you're the 3rd best team in the league, normally you got to do what you got to do to make sure you stay within the pack of good players and good teams in the league, whether you are a championship competitor or just a solid team. Like, look at a lot of these teams, like the San Antonio Spurs, maybe not this year, but in the past, San Antonio Spurs, as though even though they've not been able to technically compete for a championship, they've always been in the talks. They've always been in the running. They've always been a team that you know is going to be a playoff team because they have that stability. They have that, continuity where they're going to rebuild and fix things the right way, but they're still going to be competitive. And the Knicks, once we started losing players to injuries and players getting traded away and players getting lost in the sauce and we didn't do anything about maintaining any kind of success after 2 solid seasons. I digress. The point of the matter is, a lot of our transgressions and a lot of our negative times in the last 2 decades tie back to Steve Mills. Is that harsh? Not anymore. In my opinion, no. I mean, I was probably there's a lot of people, but I was very loud, and this is before my YouTube channel, when we appointed Steve Mills to the president job after Phil Jackson stepped down. To me, I thought that should of any times, I know people are saying it now, of any times, that was the time we should have cleaned house. We should have just pressed the reset button, got rid of everybody. Phil Jackson, Steve Mills, everybody, get out, move on, try something new. I do feel like we did one thing right, and that one thing right was to get a very intuitive and very forward-thinking mind like Scott Perry. Now, I know a lot of people probably aren't as heavy on Scott Perry because they want to put a lot of the blame on him for a lot of the signings that we have right now that are not working out, but I firmly do not believe that he had much influence on a lot of these signings that we brought in. Now, I know the Elfrid Payton thing was most likely a Scott Perry signing, but at the end of the day, as much as I love Frank, as much as a lot of you guys like Dennis Smith Jr., we did not have a starting point guard on the roster, so what he did was he brought us a starting point guard. Feel about Elfrid Payton how you may, the point of the matter is he wanted to bring a starting point guard that's been on the uptick, and in his time with us before his injury, can't say Elfrid Payton's really been too terrible outside of the preseason. Besides that signing and maybe the Marcus Morris signing, a lot of these other ones, they had they had Steve Mills written all over them, you know, panicking for a Julius Randle, getting Bobby Portis, like all these kind of players, those, and for how much money and all that kind of stuff. To me, that reeks of Steve Mills of the past. We've seen Steve Mills do a lot of these kind of things, thinking that these B-level athletes are going to be saviors and going to be our number one option, when that's just not the case. With all that being said, if it's up to me, come December 15th, my phone lines are wide open for anybody except for RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and probably Frank Ntilikina, and I would put an asterisk next to Alonzo Trier. Everyone else is completely available. Everybody. Like, I'm taking all the calls for Julius Randle, I'm taking all the calls for Marcus Morris. There needs to be a change, and the change is to me, it's black and white. The change is just focus on the youth. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, they're not doing great, but at least they have a projection. They have a trajectory. Their trajectory is, we are starting Cam Reddish, we are starting DeAndre Hunter, we are starting our budding superstar Trae Young, and once John Collins gets back from juicing up, we're going to be starting him too. The point of the matter is, they are putting these guys in situations and surrounding them with the right kind of veterans. A veteran like a Vince Carter that's going to be in the air and help these guys mature as they continue to grow up in their. Vince Carter is probably one of the best things to happen for Cam Reddish. And I know right now he's been having a rough start to the season, but slowly he's coming out of his shell and becoming the player that a lot of people are expecting him to be. The problem with us is, yeah, we got veterans, and why I probably wouldn't give up all my vets. Like, I probably would keep a Taj Gibson, but we just have the wrong mesh of players. We have the wrong pieces to this puzzle. Now, I feel like a Marcus Morris on another team, like maybe the Philadelphia 76ers or even the Portland Trailblazers along with Carmelo Anthony, like that's a great fit. But him and Julius Randle and Wayne Ellington all together on the same team, to me, it's just a weird fit. It's a weird fit, and it was something that I was scared of, and I got torn apart on my own channel when I had said that about Julius Randle. I'm like, yo, I don't know if Julius Randle should be the guy that we should be looking at bringing on to our team. I don't know. I can go on and on about the roster. I can go on and on about who fits and who doesn't fit, but it's just the same song. Everybody is on the same, wavelength when it comes to that. And I honestly don't have enough battery power or battery life on my camera to even go into any deeper dive when it comes to the terrible fit that this team is. So yeah, as owner, my first order of business would be, I would be sending Steve Mills packing. In no way, shape, or form would I feel bad. He had 20 plus years of being a part of the Knicks organization. Nothing great came of it. Maybe 2 solid seasons came of it, but it's time for him to take the bag and get out. And then yeah, I would simply just move up Scott Perry to that GM president role, or maybe just a GM role, and just let him be the GM. And if he needs an assistant GM that he believes in, that he trusts in, I would let him bring him in. But the thing is, Scott Perry's message of, going by the small market blueprint is the right way for us. I mean, I understand we're the New York Knicks, but I can only say it so many times. Nobody wants to play for the Knicks right now. What incentive would I have to come and play for the Knicks? I wouldn't go to the Brooklyn Nets. Don't get it twisted. If I'm coming to New York, I'm coming to the Knicks. But at the same time, what incentive do I have to come and play for this team where it looks like the front office doesn't know what entirely they want to do? They say one thing to make us feel better, but then they do another thing. It's not a good look. So yeah, I will let Scott Perry, at least then we have a trajectory. We know what we're going to do, and I'll let Scott Perry be the person under control, under no filter of a Steve Mills or anything like that. Let Scott Perry do what Scott Perry does. There's so many things we can do. There's so many he says, she says. I'm just very curious to hear what you guys have to say. We're gonna bring back comments in the video in the next video. I feel like I ranted too long. I just need to get a lot of this off of my chest. I feel like this is a bit of a down video because everybody right now in Knicks land are just in a very unorthodox and confused state right now with what to do, with what to believe, with what to think about our team. Because even though we're not the greatest teams, we damn sure should not start at 4-17 this season. But I would love to hear what you guys would do if you guys even got to this point. I would love to hear your guys' take. If you were the owner, what would be the 3 things that you would do? And then follow that by hashtag KnicksGM. So I know that you got to this point of the video and you're a real one. You're part of the CK crew. But if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And yes, I'm back. I apologize for making y'all wait so long. I miss y'all. I miss streaming. I just need to get my life sorted, you know, in this move and a lot of stuff going on. So until we get everything sorted, live streams will be back. For right now, we're just gonna be doing the videos and coast to coast. I had to put the merch on a pause, but definitely my goal is to get the merch ready for the for Christmas or for the new year. Got some dope designs. I'm so excited for you to see them, but I had to put down pause because a lot of stuff is going on in the back burner in my personal life. So just be patient for that stuff. I know you guys still asking about that. Anyways, I'm out of here, y'all. It's been your boy CK2K. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Let's get it. Peace.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes. And I wonder if this is our